Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing a 25-piece limited edition launched for the 2014 fall. So this is 25 pieces in 5N red gold from Arnold Son of Le Chaux de Fonds. This is the TE8, the Tourbillon Escapement 8, with spectacular modern finishing flair combined with some elements of historic British watchmaking. It is a modern-day Swiss homage to the way watches would have been made in Britain during the 18th century. It is a large watch, but it is a thin watch at 44 millimeters in diameter, 11.3 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 50.6 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. We'll throw this watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. You can see that it is agreeably flat. It will fit under a cuff. It's broad, though. Being just over 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, I'm going to recommend this watch for a wrist my size, but no larger. So if your wrist is my size, 16 centimeters, this will fit just fine. But if your wrist is smaller, you're going to want to look at a smaller Arnold Son tourbillon like the UTTE, which will be a better match for you. That said, it has a satisfying and weighty heft in the hand. The strap is deluxe and luxurious, dark brown, semi-gloss, large rectangular symmetrical scale alligator leather, always indicative of a very high-grade, expensive cut of the animal. A little bit of bolstering or stuffing to give it volume, a folded edge, a monotone stitch. It's calfskin lined. You can see this is a brand new Arnold Son factory strap, and it's matched to a simple and elegant pin buckle. The case has lovely lugs. In fact, when you get close to the case, you can just appreciate how nicely done they are. The lugs appear to be welded on, which means attached by welding and then filed to create the sharp break you see between lug and case. It's always a very artisanal, slow, and expensive way to make a case, but it results in these super sharp creases between surfaces. You can also see the differential finish of these little satinated caps on either side. There's a teardrop undertuck to these lugs, which have a polished top, and the watch is primarily in high polish. The flange of the bezel sticks out over the case band. The bezel is domed and relatively shallow. We have a crown and an anchor to remind you that John Arnold and his sons once upon a time were famous manufacturers of timepieces for mariners, including the Admiralty. Of course, today, Arnold & Son is a brand owned by La Joux, which is a manufacturer out of Le Chaux de Fonds. They, in turn, are owned by Citizen Group. So considering they only make probably about 1,000 watches per year at Arnold & Son, it's rare to have a company that has almost limitless resources to develop watches and make them beautifully, but at the same time has sort of the spirit of an independent. The idea of having a big Japanese corporate owner that gives limitless money and free rein to its Swiss ward, that's the best possible situation because it means you'll always be able to get this watch serviced. The dial is big, open, and symmetrical. So this is an inverted movement in the sense that all of the action is on the dial side. You can see the mainspring barrel as well as the tourbillon. Inboard, we have a sort of nickel anthracite brushed track with faceted dart-style indices. We have half-frosted, or I should say half-brushed hands in broadsword fashion to allow better contrast and reading against the dial base. We have this extraordinary cut, polished, and media-blasted three-quarter style bridge up at the top, as well as a skeletonization that allows you to see the barrel. And take a good look right there, the use of wolf's tooth profiling for the ratchet wheel. That is a historic English pocket watch element, later used by American watchmakers, that allows for super creamy and smooth meshing of the winding system and the ratchet wheel. So when you wind it, it feels wonderfully refined, almost effortless. You can also see there's a recurring tri-spoke motif. So you see it on the bridge for the barrel, the ratchet wheel and the barrel. You can see it on the tourbillon cage. Then you can see it again on the reverse as we have it on the underside of the tourbillon. And we've also got tri-spoke wheels in the setting train. And just to be clear, we also have that engraving, blasting, and polishing on the back. It is a very artisanally decorated movement. You can see how the keyless works has also been inverted. This is usually on the dial side, underneath the dial of watch here. The tourbillon and the barrel have been moved to the top. The keyless works is down there. You can see the setting lever, the clutch spring. And you can see that these parts are micro-beveled and satinated on their tops. All screw heads are mirror finished. And you can appreciate that the bridges are satinated on their tops, beveled on their edges. We have golden chaton, white gold chaton cups fixed by screws holding the underside of the tourbillon pivot as well as the barrel. That's another nod to British watchmaking back in the 18th and 19th century. Before you could precision press a jewel into a bridge or a plate, a precision golden cup would be made, the jewel pressed into that, and then that in turn fixed into the bridge or plate using screws. Note that the edge of that 3/4 bridge has been entirely mirror finished. See that? That is extraordinary. We also have an entirely mirror finished bridge that is also skeletonized for the tourbillon, which is itself mirror finished and micro beveled on the facets of the tourbillon cage arms. The engine turning on the base plate, which you can see in nickel anthracite, it is super duper tight and concentric. There's perlage and then there's great perlage. This is great perlage. The pearls are small, evenly overlapped, and then concentric in the sense that they are concentric circles. Taking a quick look now once more at the barrel, you can see that those wolf tooth profile teeth sit atop a mainspring that endows this watch with a manual wind power reserve of 80 hours. The tourbillon is a 1-minute tourbillon that beats away at 3 hertz, so 21,600 vibrations per hour, and the whole movement pivots on 19 jewels in a case that is water resistant down to 30 meters. Other elements that are designed to be odes to British watchmaking. You could see the individual freestanding bridge for the tourbillon, as well as the symmetry of the watch overall. The inline alignment of the hands, the barrel, and then the tourbillon. And you can see on the reverse side, we have a great deal of symmetry and balance as well, with a nameplate Arnold Son that's been satinated and beveled. And you can see that nickel anthracite coating applied on the reverse, along with little elements like locating pegs mirror finished. You see those 2 little polished dots flanking the screw? Those are pegs used to help locate the bridge on the plate beneath, and so they've been polished on their top once the bridge has been pressed into place. It's deeply impressive, as is the beveling on the inside of these little wheels, as that is not easy to accomplish. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.